All right, I am joined now by former Arizona State defensive lineman Dashaun Mallory, who's coming on the show, going to talk about a pretty eventful weekend coming up for you as you're taking the next step to the professional level. Dashaun, thank you for coming on the show. How are you today?
I appreciate you having me, man. I'm doing good today.
All right, let's start off. Obviously, the NFL draft is just a few days away as of the time of this recording. What has been like the process for you? Obviously, we were able to connect at Arizona State's Pro Day back in March, but obviously, with the lead up to making that jump, the NFL draft process has a lot of twists and turns. How's that process gone for you?
Man, I can honestly say since Pro Day for sure, or Arizona State's Pro Day for sure, I can say this process has been going pretty well, man. I definitely been trying to do a good job of keeping my mentals pretty strong. I haven't been trying to get too high about anything. Like I've definitely spoke to a couple of organizations. I've definitely had a couple of workouts for a few organizations as well. But I also understand that this is still just a job interview at the end of the day. And for me to sit here and be high and mighty about anything is kind of immature. I'm still expecting to get a call, or that's what I want to happen to fulfill this dream. But I can say this process so far, man, has been great. I've definitely been happy with the resume that I've put out these last couple of months, the training that I've been doing, the effort that I've been continuing to put out, and then even showcasing or presenting myself in front of these scouts and these NFL coaches, man. I just feel like who I am presenting, who I'm showing up as, and then the work that I'm doing in front of them. I mean, honestly, man, I can't ask of myself to do anything else besides continue being me, control what I can control. And since I've been home a little bit, like I said, the only thing I can control, man, is one, staying out of trouble for sure. And then two, man, just making sure I'm in shape. You know what I'm saying? If I do get that call, I know I got to report, honestly, probably within the next 72 hours. So it's like I can only control what I can, man. And I can say that this process has been very beautiful, man. It's been eye-opening. And it's been humbling for sure. So I'm enjoying it, man.
What's been the most interesting or perhaps unexpected aspect of this whole process for you?
The most unexpected, I feel like I'm definitely biased to myself, but I feel like just continue to hear from NFL teams. I feel like the more days that continue to go on, especially now that the big day is coming up, I feel like as far as what you said about the ups and downs, I feel like during this process, you definitely can get into a mode where you start to feel a little bit of anxiety. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to happen. I know there's a million other guys within this process trying to go through the same thing. And it's like everybody has been working as long as they can remember for this job interview. Some guys start playing at 5, some guys start playing late, middle school, high school, whatever the case may be. We're all ultimately riding on getting a phone call for the next 3 days. And I feel like that has been the most thing that I've been paying attention to, is that although I'll have my days for sure where I kind of like sit here and I'll call my mom, I'll bother my brother or my dad, and kind of understand that, like, man, like, dog, if I don't get that call, like, what the heck, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what I was just saying earlier, I can't be mad about what I've done, especially my last couple of years at Michigan State, to led me to transfer to Arizona State, and then the phenomenal year that I had there. I feel like if anybody were to look at my story, check out my background, I feel like everyone would see that I'm a hard worker. I'm dedicated to what I do, and I feel like I have true passion for football. And not only football, I mean, I have a lot of external things, internal things that I feel like that pushes me on a daily basis. So again, to sit here and say that I'm going through this process and I'm still being contacted by pro teams, I'm still getting phone calls, emails, and just more teams still trying to figure out who I am and if I can fit. I feel like that's definitely reassuring to understand that I had to been doing something as far as like being on the right path this whole time. But I can just truly say that just that, man, just still being able to hear from organizations, and the draft is what, 6 days out. So
Yeah.
like I said, man, I feel like that's just been the biggest thing is no matter that I can sit here and have a little bit of anxiety, start to have a little bit of doubt, the fact that I'm still hearing from teams is definitely a good feeling.
Do you have any big plans for the kind of draft weekend and how you're going to be spending the 3 days of the draft cycle?
Yeah, no, but hey, I can be real humble, man. I know Thursday. Yeah, I'm not tuning in, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know I'm not a Thursday guy. Again, I'm biased. I definitely believe I am. But truly, I mean, to respect to all the prospects that are going to be going on Thursday for sure. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that like to be rude or nothing like that. I know I won't be tuned in for sure. But come Friday, come Saturday, man, I'm gonna be locked in, man. I'm gonna be by my phone. I'm gonna fall asleep Thursday night actually with my phone right next to my face. But man, I'm a simple guy, man. I'm a family oriented man. I don't do too much, man. I'm not flashy. I'm not, with the social stuff. I'm gonna be in the house with my mom, my brother, man. I think just a couple of my high school. I won't even say high school friends. A couple of friends that I like truly grew up with, that I can consider like real family. Probably just have like a small group of like 5 people at my mama's house, and you know what I'm saying. We just watch the draft, man, and see if your boy get that call. So we won't be doing nothing too crazy, nothing too special. I wasn't really raised like that. We all understand that this is definitely a big moment, but at the same time, it's just another regular day, and I'm just looking to get a job, man.
So, looking back at your season here at Arizona State, obviously now that you've had a few months, from the end of the season, have you ever been a part of a season just kind of so unusual, so many like unique twists and turns? A lot of the stuff that was outside the players' control, the injuries, just kind of the ups and downs. Or just have you ever been a part of a season just kind of with that unusual?
I wouldn't. Okay, I would definitely say this is my first time like ever being on a team where the entire O-line has like went down with some bad injuries. And that's not to disrespect my guys or whatever. They know I love them. But I've never been a part of a team where that has happened. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's like not necessarily like a backwards miracle in a way. Like, how do you have your entire O-line battling severe injuries? You know what I'm saying? But I can definitely say, man, my time at Michigan State, I definitely had some up and down years for sure. I want to say my sophomore year, maybe, man, we lost 5 games back to back. I'm talking about back, and then the year before, we was actually pretty decent. I think we went like 9, probably like 6 and 7. I'll be real, probably 6 and 7 or something like that. But still, like the very next year, we started out good. Like we played Arizona. Actually, long story short, I played Arizona twice when I was at Michigan State. So the whole full circle thing that I ended up finishing my college career at Arizona State is a big thing to me. But like I said, I've had some years where we didn't, like I said, lost 5 games back to back. We went 11-3 one year, and then turned around and barely only almost won 5 games. So it's like, I feel like football is football at the end of the day. Everything is literally left to uncertainty, and you can't control a lot of things. But I'd say my time at Arizona State, to me, it honestly wasn't no different. I understood that, like, yeah, that's offensive line. I don't play offense. I definitely don't play O-line. But, it was definitely encouraging just to know that we had a lot of young guys ready to step up and play, whether they were ready or not. The guys had heart. And I felt like for me, being the older guy in the room, again, playing defense, I feel like I had no choice but to at least get them ready during the week too. Whether I was lined up against a freshman or sophomore, whatever the case may be, you got to be ready to go against our opponent this Saturday. And they're not going to care about how old you are. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it was more so a thing that never really got to me, like in a bad way. I feel like, for one, I understood myself. I only had a short amount of time there. I was trying to do everything that I could to make sure I played well, that I was a great teammate, that I was a great player, I was a great locker room guy, and I was a great person within the community. So to sit here and say that it was my experience bad with Arizona State, man, nah. I swear, I feel like I owe everything to Arizona State, man. They brought me in. They gave your boy the keys, man. I felt like I turned the car on and never turned around. You know what I'm saying? And I did the best that I could have done with the time that I had at Arizona State. And, man, I left that place with a lot of friends that I would have never thought that I would have made. The coaching staff was phenomenal. I still talk to quite a lot of them, honestly, still to this day. I'm still in the D-line group chats. Like, man, I owe so much respect to Arizona State, man. So to say was that year or this past season anything bad, I feel like I definitely dealt with like some self-inflicting stuff at Michigan State. I can't name off any off the top of my head, but I know we definitely went through a little something for sure. Almost similar. I don't think we missed a bowl game because of it, but I know we definitely went through some stuff to where it was like, you know what I'm saying, kind of bad for the media or whatever the case may be. But to be honest, man, at the end of the day, for me and my mindset, I know I had to show up and work every single day. Like I said, I had one very last season to prove, to show anything that I could play in the NFL. And that was ultimately my focus the entire season. That was my job. They brought me in to do exactly that, earn a spot there, and then shoot for my dreams, man. And I just did that the best that I could, dog.
Did you ever feel, as you mentioned, with the offensive line injuries, the quarterback injuries, at times, the team's starting running back and tight ends at quarterback. Did you ever, from the defensive perspective, know that, okay, the offense is, going through some stuff with the injuries that, we got to put some more, we have to step up even more. Did you feel extra pressure from that defensive standpoint?
Extra pressure? I don't know, man. I don't think that I did, for the simple fact that, again, being a vet in the room, I've been around a great program in Michigan State, and I've also played against some other great programs within the Big Ten Conference. And I kind of just had that mentality when I came to Arizona State, coming to this Pac-12, where it was the next man up. Like I said, I mean, I understand that we had a tremendous amount of injuries. That was like I said, to me personally, that was crazy. I don't think I've ever been on a team where more than 3 people have been hurt. You know what I mean? So it was definitely an eye-opening experience. Was like, dang, football is kind of like one play and you don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, man, I feel like the defense, we had such a tight bond, man, where we didn't even really talk like that. Like, yeah, we would sit there and be like, dang, like he hurt or like what happened, stuff like that. But it was never a case where we started to trip on ourselves or we felt like we had to be, what I'm saying, the belt of the team. I feel like all of us collectively, first and foremost, I think the defensive side of the ball, we had a lot more older guys playing than the offense at the time. Like I want to say, once everyone started to get hurt, offense had a lot of young players playing, a lot of young players. Whereas defense, we had CJ Fight, Tristan Monday, and I can't even think of who else, but I feel like those were really the only 2 freshmen I was playing on defense. So I feel like a lot of the guys that I played with next with this past season were a lot of guys that honestly understood the situation. Our offense is they just need some help. We got to go out here and do our best job. And I think that was evident when we played Fresno State. Now, we can sit here and say, yeah, we still lost, but we did not have an offense at all, and we held pretty much Fresno to like a lot of field goals. I think they scored maybe once or twice. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean there was the offense had 8 turnovers, but you guys only allowed 15 points off those 8 turnovers, which is an exceptionally great stat. Like it was an incredible performance.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like little things like that people don't pay attention to, and I feel like for that game alone, defensive wise, we understood that okay, our offense can't get anything going. The only thing we can do is at least try to get turnovers and score, or at least hold them to a field goal at most. And if we can continue doing that and at least just keep putting our offense in positions to score, I mean, what more can what I'm saying? People could have asked of us. Like again, the result is the result of the game. But I also feel like, as far as what you asked me about the pressure, don't think not one person had that. Just because I feel like that was a really tight knit group, man. Like Cam T, I never been a part of like a football camp like that, to where we had to go to a different location and like you are literally around the same people for like a couple of days. I feel like that truly did something for us to whereas I feel like if we didn't have that, to be honest, I feel like defense probably would have been that close either, to the point where our offense is doing bad. Now some defensive players are out there being selfish and not trying to, be a team player, so like that. I feel like we probably would have got into that. But I feel like the bond that we all built, especially from the moment I got there May 15th. I want to say before 4th of July, I felt like I was like the guy that everybody was coming to in the locker room. So when we faced adversity during the season, it was easy for me to be able to turn around like, look, we know our job, we know our plays, we know our assignments. We got to step up, and that's just point blank period. And I feel like we carried that throughout the entire year as best as we could. And again, I know personally me, I don't have any regrets. And I know a lot of the guys that I just played with can say the exact same thing.
How did you see the coaching staff as obviously, the team's going through a lot of adversity throughout the year, the injuries and just kind of some of this, and, obviously a first-year head coach. How did you see kind of the Kenny and the staff kind of help lead the team through, the ups and downs and obstacles and adversity that the team faced?
Right. First and foremost, again, me being the older guy in the room and coming from a different program, I feel like if you are paying attention, you can mature for sure. So I feel like going through the season that we had, Coach Dillingham, first and foremost, was a guy that never exposed himself in terms of like him being frustrated with the offense mainly. I mean, that was he's the head coach, but he had control over the offense. He was a guy that more so kept trying to get the guys like, hey, look, this is the situation. We need next man up. Like I said, I feel like he did a good job of every single day, every single week, at least encouraging us. You know what I'm saying? That we had to prove. And honestly, it felt like every game that we played, we could have won. Like that's how he got us. That's how he had our mentality. That's how we were practiced. That's how everything was. I mean, I don't think anything changed just because our season was, not as good. Like coming into the meeting room, it was the same thing. If you had your hoodie up by the time you started talking, go ahead, take it off. Like he was the same from May 15th till I left in December. And I feel like that's just a testament to who he is as a person, who he is as a man, who he is as a coach, and the mindset that he has for his future team. And I feel like him being the head of that, every other coach obviously followed that too. I mean, like I said, I want to say we went through. I don't think we lost games back to back to back to back, but I know for a fact that like we would lose a game, but then it was never like dang, we just got whooped. It was more so like dog, like Coach Dillingham in front of. I hope y'all know that we really shot ourselves in the foot. This is what we have for the team right now, knowing that we could be better, but this is how we just performed against, I don't know, let's say UCLA or Oklahoma State or USC, stuff like that. So I feel like he did a very good job of holding us together as best as he could. Not to say that we were falling apart, but I can only imagine what it's like being a head coach, transferring from Oregon to Arizona State. You know what I'm saying? You trying to start your own little team, trying to, get your groove going, and you go 3-9. I can only imagine what's that's like from a head coach perspective, and not a player that's going out there sacrificing his body. A coach that's literally, when y'all losing, they ask you that question. And I feel like, again, he never made it known, or he never, gave us any signs that he was irritated with us, frustrated with us, anything like that. So again, I feel like the staff did a tremendous job, man, with just continuing to encourage us, continuing to every single week put in our minds that we were winners, that we could beat anybody. They did a good job of holding us together for sure.
Going through a year with those obstacles and that adversity, what are some of the lessons you took away from that experience that you think you're going to carry with you going forward?
Man, I think the biggest one I can take away from that, man, is when I remember when we got the we were banned from the bowl game. And I remember just being around, again, Arizona State at the time was a very, very, very young team. So you're getting guys fresh out of high school. They're trying to live the college life. They're in Arizona, and they're expecting, the team to go undefeated or however the situation goes. Again, being a veteran in the room, understanding that this is really just a business. I think, to me, the one thing I can take away from this season is that no matter what happens, no matter how things are going, you have to show up every single day and give it your best, because there's always somebody watching. You have a job to do, and if you want to be able to keep that job, you can't start slacking because things aren't going your way. And I feel like I definitely learned that from Michigan State as well. Halfway through my college career there, I ended up getting a new head coach. I definitely wasn't the guy. A lot of the people that was under the old roster, we were getting pushed out the door. As you can say, that's adversity, but a lot of us ended up staying because it's like, man, like, I came here first. I know that I'm, XYZ. I'm this type of player, this and that, and I've just got to try to prove myself. But I feel like from this year, for sure, man, I feel like being the older guy in the room, I feel like you definitely got to take a lot of the hurt. You know what I'm saying? When you talk to the media, when you sit there and lose, and personally, individually, you can have a great game. At the end of the day, though, it's a team sport. And I feel like that's one thing that I can definitely say that I pay attention to, or that I'll carry on to the next level, is that no matter what's going on, man, you got to wake up, do your best, show out, give the utmost effort, no matter what's going on. We still have plenty of games to play. And I felt like, me personally, I was able to do that. I felt like game after game after game, I was constantly getting better, because there was no point in me going out there slacking just because, like, now we're, I don't know, 1-5 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I had my own personal dreams to get to the NFL, but at the same time, I was a veteran in the locker room. I got to show these young guys that no matter what's going on, you had to come out here and perform no matter what. And I feel like, obviously, I know the NFL probably be a little bit different. I don't think that the NFL locker rooms are the same as college as far as like guys being close. I mean, you live next to these guys and stuff like that. NFL is a little bit different. You got grown men, you got guys got families, married, kids, all type of things. And I feel like understanding that no matter what, I got to be able to show up in that building, be presentable, be attentive, bring my lunch pad and go to work every single day. And I think that's one thing that I feel like I've always prided myself on, being a hard worker. But I'd say for sure that's one thing that I know that I can carry on to the next level. It's just, no matter the situation, if I'm a rotating guy, practice squad, whatever the case may be, I got to show up and dominate every single chance I get, because the eye in the sky never lie. And I feel like Coach Amy, for sure, Coach Amy used to tell us that. When, especially like when certain guys wouldn't get in their mojo, certain guys had to step up and be the first player on defense to like get the spark going, get a big hit or get a TFL, whatever the case may be. And I feel like anytime he would give that speech, it was always, Dashaun, I need you to be that guy. So it never mattered how I felt. It never mattered what the score was. I was that guy that had to show the young guys, no matter what, someone is capable of doing it. And no matter how they feel, no matter what's going on, somebody got to be able to do it. And again, me going to the next level, me being in this process, man, I just feel like, again, I know I'm gonna be around guys that are Pro Bowlers, guys that didn't won Super Bowls, guys that have been in the league probably 6+, 10+. I'm gonna be coming in new fish in the pond, man. And like I said, got to start all the way over. But at the same time, I know I got to show up, improve myself, show up every day, wanting to show them that I want this job. So I can say that's one thing I'm carrying on for sure.
You mentioned Coach Amy kind of, tabbing you as like, oftentimes, the guy to get things going. What are the staff's belief in you, both, maybe from starting off to bring you into Tempe, but also once you're here as the key guy and one of the focal points of this defense? What does the staff's belief in you mean?
Man, that's a deep question. I won't lie to you. Man, I feel like it means everything to me, first and foremost, for the simple fact that I came from Michigan State, and I can sit here and harp about my experience there and if it wasn't good or if it was bad. I just never felt like I was trusted as much for whatever reason. I just felt like I was never in that role to where I felt respected by the coaches. So when I got to Arizona, again, by this point, I'm 23. The delusion is off from college football and all this other stuff. I get there as a grown man in my head for sure. I come there correct. And it was the fact that they were addressing me as such. Who I was presenting them as, who I was presenting myself to them as, is who they were responding back to me. Like, they would talk to me as a grown man. They wouldn't sugarcoat anything. And I felt like that's really where the respect came from in terms of me being able to be the guy that they wanted to be, the example. I feel like Coach Amy, Coach Ward, Coach Dillingham, my guy, Coach Regal, for sure. Coach Regal and plenty of other coaches on that staff. But those guys mainly, because Brian Ward's defense coordinator, Coach Amy, and Coach Regal, the D-line coaches pretty much, and then Coach Dillingham. I feel like, man, without those guys, without them taking the time to really hear my story, because they just could have took anybody out the portal. But I feel like when it came down to me, man, it was very personal in their approach towards me. I feel like they really wanted to know why I transferred. They really wanted to know who I was on the inside, what was my mind like. And that really gave me a sense of security to where it was like, man, like, I'll go catch a bullet for these coaches. Like, they talking to me as if like I'm their child. You know what I mean? And again, I feel like I took pride in that because I feel like I'm naturally a protector type of guy. So then when it's like, okay, you asked me to go out there and be the example, oh, I know I got that. I know I can go do that. I didn't prepare my whole life to be the guy in that position. And I felt like for them to see that in me, oh, man, it felt incredible to be able to go out there and not really overthink anything that I did. Like, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some games I can go back and be like, man, my footwork was wrong. My feet was bad, whatever that case may be. But at the same time, I'm not coming to the sideline and Coach Amy is yelling at me and threatening to take me out because I messed up on a step. It was more so like there was, I swear, there were moments during the game, man, where like the defense would be going out for the first time, and he'll grab, like he would grab me and look at me, and I just ask him one question. I was like, Coach, do you trust me? And he would be like, yeah, without a doubt. Like, why do you always ask me? Why do you always ask me that? Me personally, selfishly, I've always wanted that, for a coach to trust me, trust that I've done my homework during the week, trust that I've done the preparation, trust that if I just messed up this play, the very next play, I'm gonna try to get that back. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, okay, I just missed this tackle, I messed up. Now you finna take me out off one play, like dang, like, you know what I mean? It was more so that I can say those little moments to me mean the most, because I feel like without that, I wouldn't have had the season that I did. So I can give all the credit to the staff, man, how they treated me, how they brought me in. It was the same on my official visit. I literally wanted to commit. I got there at like, I don't know, maybe 9 o'clock at night. I wanted to commit by midnight, and it was literally day one. Just because how they was like, I don't even really know how to put that stuff into words, man. Definitely, it's an emotional feeling because it's like I feel like I haven't had that type of connection with my coaches since Little League, since high school. And like I said, the fact that I was able to get that my last year in college, for me to feel so free. I know I probably didn't stress that word quite a few times about what free means to me, but that's truly how it felt. Being able just to be respected, man, and have the coaches behind my back. They trusted in my ability to go out there and perform. They trusted in my judgment. They trusted in my critical thinking. They trusted in my athleticism, ability to take over at certain moments. Because I won't lie to you, there was a couple games where, dog, I was not looking at the signals at all. Like, it got to the point where Coach Amy go, "Oh yeah, you in the zone. Just go out there and do your thing." Again, I feel like if he didn't trust me, I would have never heard that from him. Stick to the script. Stick to the script. But it's not that I was trying to be selfish or whatever. But you get in the zone, man, your body just start moving. You just start doing stuff. And I guess a few games I can say that happened for sure. UCLA, I feel like I started to do that against Cal, a little bit against USC, but I feel like UCLA was really to top it all off because it was building up all Washington too when we played Washington. I feel like by the time I got to UCLA, I feel like that performance was solemnly based of all the games prior and how the coaches just trusted me. And I feel like, again, without that, I don't think that I will be in this position to sit here and say that I'm a draft prospect, dog.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the UCLA game. One of the most dominant single game performances. I've been covering ASU for 13 seasons now, and that was one of the top single game defensive performances. I believe you had 4.5 TFLs, and not just like TFLs and just but like in critical moments too. A couple of those fourth downs. What was it like? Just knowing that again, kind of the offense is going through some stuff, had to do some weird swinging gate, but from a defensive perspective, you guys put the clamps down. You were in the zone, and obviously to do that in the Rose Bowl of all places. So it's like kind of like everything coming together. What did that night mean to you?
I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. We pulled up to that stadium, right? And Coach Dillingham got us all in the locker room, and he had told us, like, this is gonna be the last game that's ever gonna be played in the stadium, like ever, unless it's like a bowl game or something like that. And I'm a guy that's like very superstitious. I'm a guy that takes things very personal. I remember sitting in my locker, man. I was like, dang, like, first of all, this is my first time even being in this stadium, in this locker room. So I'm like, dude, this is gonna be the last time. Somebody got to show out. Somebody got to ball out today. And I remember just looking at my guys or whatever, and you could just tell, like, by that point in the season, you know what I'm saying, we were losing or whatever case may be. A lot of guys were ready for the season to end. But to me, it, like, sparked something in me to where it was like, dog, if this is the last time that anybody's going to play in the stadium, like, anybody, I got to leave knowing that, like, if someone was like, well, let's check out the last game that ever been played here, or they going to see that, you know what I'm saying, the Sun Devils did their thing and won. I feel like, man, we got to warm-ups. And I remember just like the weather was just too perfect, man. I remember Coach Amy came up to me like he always do. He always give me a hug and he leans his forehead on mine and he do a quick little prayer with me. And I remember like he was walking away and it seemed like it was in slow motion for some reason, like as if I was already like tapping into that zone. And I remember like looking at the back of his head as he was walking away, and I was like, and I had just looked at the stadium lights because we all on the field at this point. And I was like, dog, I don't know what it is. I was like, I feel like I'm not even here right now. And, we go back in the locker room, whatever, to do our last little team stuff, and we come back out. And I remember running back out on the field. Coach Amy grabbed me right before, the kickoff, so like that defense was going to go out. He had grabbed me, and he was like, you've been quiet this whole time. Are you okay? I looked at him, and I was like, Coach, I'm not going to look at not one defensive play. I know what y'all finna give us. I know all the plays. Just do you trust me? And he was like, I'm not going to say nothing else. He was like, yeah, man, I kid you not. If you go back and watch the very first play, our very first defensive play, we had like a stunt. I literally picked the offensive tackle up, like off his feet, throw him down to the ground and get a TFL. The very first play of the game, the very first defensive play of the game. And I remember I'm looking at Coach Amy and I was like, oh yeah, I'm hot. I heard this day finna go crazy. This day finna go crazy. And of course, I'm talking to CJ Fight, BJ Green, Elijah O'Neal, because he started that game. We had a couple guys down. And it was just the fact that they also trusted me too. I'm looking at the play call to make sure that they're right, communicating and getting my guys right. But at the same time, hearing them too, like, man, Sean, like, forget that stunt. You take it. Like, you hot right now. You take it. Like, man, there's no. I just feel like that game, everybody was on the same type of time. Everybody spoke the same language, man. And again, I don't think I would have had that game if the coaches didn't respect me, if the coaches didn't trust me, man, if my teammates didn't trust me at all. So to sit there and go back and say, what was the deal about that game? It was really a team effort, man. I just felt like, as much as I just said it's a team effort, I feel like also, though, my team pushed me further to be that guy again, the example. We're not having such a great season. It's our last game. Our season's about to end in the next 2 to 3 games. We're playing the one last time in the Rose Bowl. Hey, go out there and have fun. The defensive guys, though, is like, Sean, like, we need you today. Like, we need something. We need a crazy performance, something. Like, we can't lose this game, blah, blah, blah. And again, I take things very personal. So when someone tells me that they need me to do something, they need me to be that, in my head, if I can see it, if I can figure it out, I'm gonna go try to do it. And like I said, man, looking at everybody's eyes before every single, and I feel like that was one thing that was different too, besides every other game that we played this past season. UCLA, the communication from everybody. I feel like when we played Washington, it was starting to tap in. We were starting to click as a unit. I feel like when we got to UCLA, I feel like we was just in a league of our own. Like, don't get me wrong, UCLA definitely had some of their plays. They got us on a couple of drives or whatever the case may be. But it wasn't the fact that we felt like we were breaking. We were bending, but that level of the level of trust we had within each other, we didn't break though. And like I said, I feel like that whole game, man, was really a team effort more than it was me, man. I'm very fortunate that they believed that I could be the one to showcase that. And like I said, that goes back to me having the utmost respect for Arizona State, those coaches and those teammates that I just played with, man.
So obviously that was a special night for you and the entire team and the fan base. I remember being down in the corner of the end zone as you guys are running off the field, and that pocket of ASU fans just going crazy.
Yeah.
When you look back though at your year, you say you got here in May through December. What were some of your favorite moments that you look back and cherish? Both whether it's on or off the field for your time as a Sun Devil.
I ain't gonna lie, man. The very first one that comes to my head is being down at Camp T, dog. Like, I remember they were showing us videos and stuff like that at first, and I was like, dog, we finna be where? Oh, nah, you know what I mean? But dude, we got down there, and I don't know. Like, it was just like everybody was around each other. Like, it really felt like I kind of left home and went on some darn camping trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like I was around some people that I've met my entire life. I say that moment in particular is something that is still very heavily on my mind, just because, like, man, did no one like them showers there? Let's keep it a buck. Did no one like them showers there? Did no one like the sleeping conditions? None of that. But it was the fact that we would all go to the little eating area. Everybody sitting down, laughing, and just like we were vibing. Like, it didn't even feel like we was in the middle of nowhere. Like, there was moments that we had to ourselves too. Like, without even the coaches, like a lot of us would go down to the lake, sit on the field that night, look at the freaking stars, for crying out loud. Like, just be boys, be around the guys and stuff like that. And I feel like, man, I'll never forget that. But yeah, I can say Camp T is a definitely impactful moment for me, man. I'd say the little moments of like getting out of practice and being able to be in the cafeteria with everybody. I don't know. I feel like, most people kind of just grab their lunch and get the heck up out of there. But it seemed like, dude, like it was almost like a party every time we got out of practice. It seemed like everybody couldn't wait to get out to the cafeteria just so, we could be us, you know what I'm saying? And it just seemed very cool how close everybody seemed. Like I said, I'm new for sure. I mean, there was a couple of new guys that was there, but I feel like I've been there for all 4 or 5 years or 6 years that I've been in college. I feel like a lot of the moments that I can sit there and cherish the most don't even got nothing to do with football. It don't got nothing to do with no game. It don't got nothing to do with, any type of recognition that I receive individually. Like, I truly feel like, man, going to the academic center and seeing some of the young guys and bothering them to make sure they stand and they tutor, like stop getting up and going to get some chips. You're not paying attention. Like, just little stuff like that, man. I feel like those were the moments that I can say that weigh heavy on my heart about ASU, being able to kind of like walk around the campus. You know what I'm saying? You see some of the young guys with their book bags walking in there. It made me feel like a little proud dad for real. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, take your behind the class. But I mean, and then I feel like this the family nature that is there too. Like, I feel like the coaches did a great job of truly embracing everybody. I don't think, not one coach there kind of had their own little selfish bravado, no ego like that. I feel like, man, it felt comfortable to talk to them coaches about any and everything. Like some stuff that you would probably talk about with your homeboys on the Friday night. You was able to talk like that with the coaches. And I feel like, again, that just helped build a real genuine space for the players, not only for myself, but then I feel like that's what made it kind of easy not to overlook our losses, but it was easy to come in. Okay, look, we just lost. Come on, man. Like, we know we better than that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like that Monday practice or that Monday night walkthrough. Oh man, the Monday night walkthroughs used to be not okay. They were definitely fun, but it was like that though. Like we all out there at night. At the end of the day, we had the classes, all type of thing. But it was like that little hour and a half to 2 hours we was out there, man. I feel like if you were to ask anybody about how I used to be on the Monday night, man, I used to go find me a little corner and kind of just like look at the stadium. I'm like, dang, I'm running out of Mondays to be here. And I feel like I generally used to cherish those Monday night walkthroughs, man, because it was like, okay, this is pretty much our refresher for the week. And again, you just watching everybody be dialed in. You know the coaches getting their little laughs out because they finna be screaming on Tuesday practice, stuff like that. But I feel like it was just always a good vibe. Like I feel like again, a lot of the moments that I miss the most, man, don't got nothing to do with the games, the atmosphere of game days, the preparation for the games, none of that, man. I feel like it was really just the moments that the cameras don't get to see, man, for real.
So now that you have your college football career kind of behind you, and Dashaun Mallory is now just a few days away from an NFL career, what does Dashaun Mallory of today say to Dashaun stepping foot on that campus at East Lansing a few years ago for the first time? What pearls of wisdom would you give your younger self?
What wisdom would I give myself? If I could go back and talk to myself walking into the East Lansing building, man, I feel like I would tell myself what I'm about to what I have been telling myself preparing for NFL. No matter what, you got to show up and perform. No matter what, you got to push yourself to the limits, regardless of how you feel. A job is a job, and if you're required to do it, you got to do it. I would definitely go back and tell myself to be a little bit more selfish too. I feel like again, I was a young 18-year-old kid stepping into the college world, man. I didn't know anything. I feel like, especially now, I definitely go back and tell myself the dream that we've always had is very attainable. Very attainable no matter what's going on, no matter if you're not playing, no matter if you're a red shirt, no matter if the coaches don't like you. The dream is attainable as long as you believe it. And I'll go back and really just tell myself, man, stay the course. I wouldn't try to manipulate myself to believe that, oh, I got to transfer right now or immediately go find a new school. I would tell myself that though. The dream that we've always wanted is very attainable as long as you can still believe in yourself.
So obviously you had some goals, for your time coming out to Arizona State and what you wanted to achieve out here. Now that your time as a Sun Devil is kind of behind you, were you able to get what you were looking for out here at Arizona State and being a Sun Devil?
Like I said again, man, I was able to get everything and then some from the state of Arizona and the organization of Arizona State. Like I said, I mean, you could go back, check a lot of the interviews out, man, when I'm talking about being free, chasing freedom. I feel like Arizona really gave me the blueprint of how to find myself, understand the things that I truly wanted. And I know I definitely had some bigger goals myself. Like I definitely wanted to be defensive player, Pac-12 player of the year. And I feel like that was definitely a selfish goal for sure. But I wanted to shoot for it. But at the same time, as far as what you had asked me earlier about how the course of the season was going and the offense like that, I kind of had to steer away from that and be more of a team player because it was bigger than me. It was always bigger than me, man. I felt like the thing that I was able to accomplish at Arizona State, I was able to refine myself. I was able to play around some guys that I truly felt beyond comfortable with playing with. I feel like I was really around some like a band of brothers, and I feel like every team probably says that these are my brothers, this and this and that. I truly felt like, man, every day waking up that I was like a big brother to everybody in that room. I felt the family love, man. I felt the opportunity to go chase something. I felt like Arizona gave me more than enough opportunities to showcase myself, who I was on the field, showcase who I was in the community. And then, like I said, even coming into Pro Day, again, I feel like they did everything they possibly could have to push me toward the scouts as best as they could have. And at the end of the day, it was definitely up to me to still perform. But I felt like, man, coming to Arizona, and this is actually quoted. Coach Dillingham has said it after the UCLA game that me coming there literally got myself drafted. And I don't doubt that. I don't think that that's false. I think me going to Arizona State changed my life for the better, for sure.
So you obviously, you played with some young guys you mentioned earlier. Just kind of, even though you're not going to be suiting up in the maroon and gold this season, who are some of the D linemen that you played with last year that you think are primed for a big step up here in 2024?
Ooh. Now, I think they did just go get a bunch of new guys, so I can't, no disrespect, I can't really speak on them because I don't know them. But from the guys that I did play with, I'm really looking forward to seeing how CJ Fight comes into his sophomore year. That is a kid, first and foremost, he's from Texas. They take football over there mad crazy. I remember one of the first, D-line film sessions we had, he was asking questions that I would have never thought to ask as a freshman. And I was sitting there like, dang, I didn't find that stuff out until like 2 years ago. How you know that? You know what I mean? I'd say CJ Fight for sure. I'm looking forward to Tristan Monday kind of really tapping into himself. I know he was a real young guy too. But I'm looking forward to him tapping into himself because we used to watch film. And, man, he used to get like, it used to be funny because he used to be like getting his stands like me, or he would do some moves that like he would just saw me do. And I like it wouldn't be the same, but it was the fact that he's trying. And then to me, that used to let me know. Like, I used to sit in the meeting room, kind of be quiet in the back, whatever. But to me, I used to see that and be, oh, this guy, like he wants it. Like he's trying to like change up his style of play. Like he definitely wants to, be better. Anthony Cooper by far. I wish I had way more time playing next to him. Of course, you can't control injuries, nothing like that. Anthony Cooper, I'm looking forward to him having at least a breakout year to give himself an opportunity to, be in the shoes that I'm in right now, sit there and say that he can be a draft prospect. Prince Dorber, Clay Smith. I think they just moved my boy Sam Benjamin back to D tackle too.
Yeah.
So all of those guys, Harold Brooks, Landon, Buddha. There's honestly a lot of those guys in that room that last year that didn't really get to play, but you can see the potential that they have, and it's not necessarily scary because that's what you would want. You want a whole room of guys that can be like, dang, I don't even know who to play. I don't know who I want out there. And I feel like pretty much all of those guys that I played with last year, I'm looking forward to CJ Fight, Tristan Monday, Sam Benjamin, and Anthony Cooper to have a phenomenal, good little rotation and chemistry out there. I feel like that's one thing that I established early with the guys that I was playing next to was the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? You can literally go back and watch some of the tapes and yeah, we're sitting out there communicating with each other, but you can literally see every single play. Me and CJ, me and Coop, or me and Tristan, like we're always looking at each other. And I think even during some of the games we used to have, like we're sitting there like dead talking to each other. Like how would be in my stands and Tristan sitting there asking like, bro, what was the play? Bro, come on. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like little moments, but it'd be like that though. The fact that he still felt comfortable enough or he was aware enough to be in those literally, but the ball's about to be hyped, but you're, calling for me. I feel like that in a sense he has to adapt to as well. And a lot of those guys, now that I'm not there anymore, someone again has to step up and be that guy that everyone feels comfortable to go to. And me personally, I feel like CJ Fight's gonna be that guy. I feel like CJ's gonna be that guy for the simple fact that he's a smart young man. He carries himself very well. He's a big old baby. I won't lie. Don't let him fool you. If you interview him, he's the hugest baby ever. So don't let him try to act tough with you. But CJ Fight though, he has great mannerisms. I feel like he knows how to talk to people. He knows how to communicate with people, and he knows how to understand people too. And not necessarily just people. I mean people outside of football, outside the building. But I feel like for what he has done for himself, his first year there, he is definitely building his name as an in-house name for right now. And I'm only excited to see what he can do on the national stage this upcoming year and his remaining years of college. And I definitely do think Arizona State is by far the best pick for him. I feel like they're going to try to put him in the shoes that they put me in. And I feel like that won't do nothing for him besides, trigger his mind to where like he wants to be better. I feel like he deserves that role. He's young, but trust me, he is mature beyond his years for sure. So those are a good handful of guys that I can say that I'm looking forward to have a great year. And I expect them to do their thing, man. I'm gonna be watching for sure.
So last one for you, ultimately, 5-10 years down the road, hopefully you're in the midst of a very successful NFL career. But when ASU fans bring up the name Dashaun Mallory in the future, how do you hope you're remembered?
Man, excuse my French, man. If my name get brought up, hey, that guy was a badass. You know what I'm saying? That guy never quit. That guy showed up every single game. He played by the book. He played by the rules. And he was a team-oriented guy. I mean, no disrespect to PT, but I feel like I want to leave a legacy like that, man. Like, for real. Like, to me, that's inspirational. Obviously, I was at Arizona for a couple of months, and I used to walk past the statue, see the PT everywhere, and I used to do something to me. Like, I was like, dang, like I wonder what it was like seeing this dude walk around the building, seeing him interact with the community, stuff like that. And to be honest, man, I feel like 5 to 10 years from now, man, people bring up Dashaun Mallory. All I can expect them to say again is like, man, this is a dude that came to us and he's truly representing us. Like, this is our guy, this is our boy. And to me, that would mean everything, because not only did I leave home doing that, the state of Chicago doing that, I was able to do that somewhere else in a short amount of time. And again, to sit there and do what I got to do with the NFL, but then bring my flowers back to Arizona State, man, that'd be huge, man. That'd be huge.
Well, awesome, Dashaun. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for taking the time for this episode. I've always enjoyed our conversations, enjoyed covering you during your season as a Sun Devil. Wish you had some more time in Tempe, but we'll definitely be rooting for tremendous success for you on Sundays for many years to come. Thank you so much.
Nah, man, my dog, man. All love, man. I appreciate you having me, man. I appreciate the time that I got to share with you during the season as well, man. Always, 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 always. You got my number, man. Hit me up.